episode of Periscope. It is the twice weekly series that Christine, who just popped on there she is, Christine W. Wife, and I do here on Periscope. I'm on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific. Christine is on Thursday evenings at 5 p.m. Pacific. And there she is. Follow her. I brought up this topic before on Periscope, but I've had so many questions about it from you guys, and specifically regarding using this particular practice for weight loss, which I think it's very effective for that. And this is something that I do every single day, and it is a practice called the Miracle Morning. And it was, the phrase and the practice was coined by a guy named Elrod, E-L-R-O-D. There's a website. I'm sure there's a newsletter. There's a book. I've read the book. The book's pretty good, but you certainly do not have to read the book before you start the practice. You could start the practice right now, like as soon as we're done here, or you could even just click off right now and go check it out. But we're going to talk about it right. Yes, exactly, like the Lord of the Rings. So the Miracle Morning is the idea of behind the Miracle Morning is that you are basically taking some time before you start your day to get a lot of crap done for you, in a nutshell. So to do the definition of the practice is it takes an hour. I personally never take an hour. I usually take like 30 to 40 minutes. An hour is a long time for me to take. I got 2 kids and lots of work. But basically, let's say it's an hour, and you divide that hour into 10-minute segments, 6 10-minute segments. And he uses the acronym SAVERS, S-A-V-E-R-S. You know, when you have, sorry, my pen just ran out. When you have a word and like each letter stands for something, so we're talking about SAVERS. SAVERS. So the S stands for silence. So 10 minutes of silence, ideally. 10 minutes of A, affirmation. 10 minutes of V, visualization. And if you guys just watched the word of the day, you know the word of the day was envision. E, exercise. R, reading. And S, scribing or journaling. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of take each one of these little chunks and discuss it over the next 6 Mondays, right? So today we're going to talk about silence, which is the very first segment of the Miracle Morning. I personally don't do my Miracle Morning in this exact order, but I always do start with the silence segment. Now, as I said, I don't always do a full hour. I often will do 5-minute segments. Sometimes if I'm really pressed for time, I'll do 4, 3, or 3-minute segments. But the idea is you get a lot done. You get a lot done usually before anybody else in the house is up. It's amazing when you're really focused for these little segments how much you can actually get done. But it all starts with silence. So no matter how long your segments are, the very first segment, and how Elrod says this too, like kind of no matter what order you do it in, it doesn't really matter as long as you start with the silence one. That's kind of critically important. And so often in our busy day-to-day lives, we don't stop and have a moment of silence, not even one little teeny tiny moment throughout the day. And it sucks really, because your whole day then you're on this hamster wheel and you don't even really know why. You don't have to take time to have any real clarity to think about what it is you want, or even just to kind of have a moment to yourself before you head out into the world. And what I always like about the Miracle Morning, and what I've noticed since I've been doing it for almost a year, I think. Been a while. The difference that I've noticed since I've been doing it is that I greet my family now in the morning in a much more calm and relaxed way. So one thing that my kids noticed was that I'm not as grumpy. They actually noticed that, which made me feel really bad. But it made me think that, are you really bringing your best self to your day? And can you do that if you just jump out of bed and make the coffee and jump in the shower and check your email and check Facebook and da-da-da-da-da-da, without taking a moment to figure out what exactly is it I want to get out of this day. Because you can do a lot in a day. A lot can happen in a day. And so silence is really a critical part of this. Now, some of you may know I am a transformational life coach, shall we say. I like to say weight loss bruja, because I specialize in people dealing with weight loss. And silence is really, really important when you're trying to achieve any goal, but specifically weight loss. A lot of us are, at some point or another, stress eaters. You know, we don't take time to stop and think about what it is that we're dealing with stress-wise, and we're just eating to try and calm ourselves. And we don't do the simplest thing, which is just to stop, breathe, and have a second or two or up to 10 minutes or more of actual silence. When you stop and focus on your breath and think about like slowing it down. When we're stressed out, our breathing becomes shallow, and that kind of snowballs the stress. When we stop and focus on the breath in silence, focus on slowing it down. Maybe you're going to count your breaths, you know, count of 4 in, count of 4 out. Everything calms down. And that urge, for many of us, that urge to like shove something in the mouth kind of settles down. So silence is really, really important. So if you can start your day with that, makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. And it's easier then for you to remember to do it throughout the day. A lot of us are uncomfortable with just sitting with ourselves, and that's not okay. That's another reason why, you know, if you do have specifically a weight loss goal, for example, you know, a weight loss goal for many of us is about being comfortable in your own skin. And the fact is, you don't have to be a particular size to do that. It takes practice and getting to know yourself and getting to love yourself. And you can't do that if you never spend time with yourself. Just sitting and quietly noticing who you are, what you want, what's important to you. And again, meditation, people kind of freak out because they think like they have to blank their minds. You don't have to blank your mind. You just have to sit and be with yourself. You can pray if that's your thing. You can, sometimes I pick a particular problem that is plaguing me, and I just kind of try to relax and have some clarity about it. But it really just as simple as stopping and noticing your breath, because we never do that. Noticing, like, where is there tension in my body? Am I holding tension in my neck? Am I holding tension in my hips? Am I, you know, is my stomach in knots? Can I breathe in and out and relax the tension? You can actually, if you focus on, let's say it's in your neck, you focus on the tension in your neck and inhale. Imagine inhaling into your neck and exhaling out of your neck. I know this sounds crazy, but it actually works. Silence is something that, well, you know, the old adage is silence is golden. Silence is a very precious thing. It's free, but we utilize it as though it costs $1 million a second. It's a very important part of our daily life. And if you start your day, you know, just in general, we're so hurried and harried that, like my mom, I've noticed, when my mom is driving, she gets really tense, especially on the freeway. And I see her like gripping the steering wheel like this. And I can see her breath getting more and more shallow until she's like holding her breath. She's like on the freeway. And people are doing that all the time. We do it all day long as we're stressing out. So it's important to stop and breathe for your health. I mean, it just does everything for your mind, for your health. And you can then notice, like, sometimes I notice I'm like this. Yeah, when we're hungry, because you know what? It's stressful to be hungry. Our bodies don't like to be not fed properly. And so, yeah, we can stress out. That's why people get sort of hangry, right? And it's, a lot of times we don't know. Yeah, mine too. I get that tense jaw thing. That's when I can tell, like, I need to stop and breathe. I notice that, like, my jaw is sore because I've been like this. But we don't have the ability to change that if we don't even notice that we're doing it. And if you can even set your timer throughout your day to, like, hey, stop and breathe for a second. Hey, stop, take 3 breaths on a count of 4. 4 in, 4 out. And it's amazing how not only does your body relax, but you can get so much mental clarity too. It kind of calms all of that noise that we're walking around with all the time. You know, it's noisy enough out there. We let the noise in here, and it can really get in your way of achieving the goals that you want to achieve. So silence is a difficult thing. And it's interesting with the Miracle Morning, you know, we've had these 6 segments, and in working with people, because I often recommend it to the people that I'm working with. In working with people, it's kind of interesting to see everybody has their own resistance to one of these segments. There's always one of them that somebody just can't quite get there. And this is one of the biggies, because it's, again, if your goal is, I mean, I say weight loss, but what I really mean is feeling comfortable in your own body, right? If your goal is feeling comfortable in your own body, yeah. For those of us who are very talkative, the silence can be challenging. If your goal is to be comfortable in your own body, then it can be hard to sit in that body in silence and really, really let it in, really feel what it feels like. And, but once you do, then you can relax it and start to appreciate all the things that you can do with your body. And when you have appreciation and gratitude, then you have something that you can build on. We can't build from a place of loss. We can't build from a place of shame. We can't really build from a place of negativity. We can build, you know, when you feel good, you want to feel good. So the better you feel, the better you feel. When you stop and start to notice, you get past all the negativity, because sometimes that comes flooding in when we're quiet, right? Just let it pass through you and let it, you know, just notice it. And then eventually you'll start to notice the things that you're feeling good about. You know, you start to feel gratitude. Like, I'm grateful that my neck is relaxing. I'm grateful that I can feel the muscles in my legs. They're under the fat, but they're there. And those are the things that you can really build on to achieve your goals. And it has this kind of snowball effect, but it takes practice. So at first, yes, you may notice all the negative messages kind of come once you quiet the noise, like that voice gets really loud. That's okay. Again, meditating and being silent is not about blanking your mind. It's about mindfulness. And I always say this to the people I work with, you know, specifically when we're talking about weight loss, but really when you're talking about any goal that you want to achieve. The one critically important element always that you cannot, it's do or die, is mindfulness. You cannot lose weight mindlessly. You cannot achieve any goal that you want to achieve mindlessly. And so what that means when you're sitting and trying to be silent and the negative messages are, thank you for the hearts, negative messages are flooding in, it means just noticing them. Oh, wow, there's that negative voice again. What's that about? Why is she here now? What is it that she wants me to do? Oh, I made it to the quote book. Why is that negative voice here? Why did that memory pop into my mind all of a sudden? What's that about? It's about noticing. So often we just don't notice that the voice is just a voice, and we let the voice run our entire lives without ever noticing that we actually can just let the voice talk and not engage with it or not listen to it that day. So silence. Give it a shot. So again, the six segments are silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing or journaling. And we're going to break down each one of these little segments over the next few weeks here on the Monday episodes of Periscope. If you like this broadcast, please share it. We now have the ability to share these and the replays. Share it on Twitter, share it with your friends. And don't forget to tune in on Thursday evening to my dear friend Christine at WWife. she's got a really great topic this week. She is talking about smart swaps. So I get asked this all the time. I don't want to give up my such and such. What's a smart swap that I can make? This is going to be a very, very handy and practical in Periscope. So make sure you have something down to scribe your notes, because she's going to have a lot of food substitutions, a lot of smart swaps for us. And I'll be back next Monday. We're going to talk about the A in the Miracle Morning. That is affirmations. And that's another one that people find very, very difficult. We'll be back with more tips and tricks every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, every Thursday evening at 5 p.m. Pacific here on Periscope. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a beautiful week. Really?